What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Star Chasers, Girls Talk Ball Offseason Convos. As you know, it's your girl, Cravin Cowboys. And as usual, I got my girl, Star, in the building. How you doing tonight, Star? What's going on?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? We finally made it.
Yes.
Finally made it. I'm trying to see if I can get this thing going live on my Instagram. I don't know if it is or
Yeah,
not.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
I
guys.
think
Tonight we decided to hop on Restream tonight, you guys. Trying something just a little bit different. So I see if we
I
can get
think it's
going.
going live, but I think it's like half cut
Let me
off. I
see.
don't know. Let me see. It looked like it was going live, but then I don't see that I'm going live when
I
you go
know.
to my when you
I
go
know.
to my
Usually on YouTube, I think on IG, is usually like a lag, but usually it should come up like right after. Did it actually connect the
It
channels?
said, yeah, it said it's connected. It says it's streaming right now, but I don't see it. What's up, JV? What's up, everybody in the chat? Glad to see it.
Yeah,
See
what's going on,
y'all.
everybody? Thank you for joining us
Sorry,
tonight.
I'm just trying to see if I can fix my
Yeah, shout out to
to be
everybody in the
able
building.
to
Side, of course, in
stream
the building.
on
And I saw the
Instagram.
new uniform y'all decided to roll out. I mean, hey, I guess y'all, got a quote unquote new team. Y'all gotta look new. New uniforms. Who this? You know what I'm saying? I understand
Oh
y'all.
my
I
god.
understand.
Talk about the Texans, boo.
Yeah,
That's what I say to
right.
that.
What's going on,
Boo.
JC? Very good to see you, fam. What's going on? Happy to see you. Tavis in the building. What's going on,
What's
fam?
up, everybody? Glad to see everybody in the chat tonight.
That's crazy. Now we were just talking about you, Keystone Star. Were we just talking about Key's sleeper file right before
Yes,
we hopped on here? Like literally.
yes, we are.
'Cause I
Yes,
was
we
just
were.
yeah, we were because I was talking about how I'm not we all know Stars like just the upcoming guru in this draft lane. Like she be teaching me, y'all. I was like I said before we hopped on here, I was telling her, look, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm never been a huge draft person just in general. I really it took me a while to get a hang of the NFL honestly, and just getting used to the players on our team, let alone other teams in the league, and just keeping up with that. So now I kind of got a handle on that. I'm slowly getting into the draft. I had a few names on my list, but I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still, just kind of getting just the hang of it. But yeah, we were literally just talking about you, Key, how like you be on point with the sleeper files. Even the big names that are out there, even some of the names that other people don't necessarily know about.
Mhm.
Like you really be spot on with it. So shout out to you, shout out to Jay Tuck, shout out to Star, shout out to Boss Cowboy. Everybody just really be really on their stuff, especially on this part of the season where like as we discussed last week, it's kind of the slow part. We not a lot of people are tapped in, things like that. But for these guys to continue to, just to continue to hump throughout the whole year is just is really commendable.
Absolutely. Keystone, like Mickey said, Keystone
Yeah.
be having those deep sleeper files. You know what I'm saying? I got some sleepers. I be having people that I watch because the way I do my draft evaluation is different. I kind of do it by the school where I go. When I watch a school, I'll look up how many players are have declared from that school, and then I'll watch all the players at once. So yeah, I probably do it. My draft process is different. I know some people just like zero in. It probably takes me a lot longer to do that because I'm like writing notes per game. I'm still figuring out how to make my life a little bit easier with the draft process. But yeah, I'm excited because I got a lot of prospects. I've watched a crap ton of film over these past couple of weeks, just trying to get caught up on prospects. Haven't watched all the prospects of some of the famous or most popular prospects. I hadn't even gotten to watch. Like I ain't gonna lie, I have not gotten to really see in-depth film of what's that linebacker's name from A&M? Cooper. I have not gotten in-depth film, but I know he's a dog. Everybody say he a dog or whatever. So I'm gonna trust.
Yeah.
Cooper, so I'm gonna trust. The JC Cowboy who really be breaking it down. His video.
Right.
Shout out to JC Cowboy too because
yes,
he really be his video breakdowns on prospects as well as our own players. Like the video breakdown that he did of the center. Hoffman, was fire, and I thought that gave us a lot of insight to like who Hoffman is and what he kind of brings to the table. So I'm really excited for the draft. And when I say we made it, I mean we finally made it to football things actually being done, and a lot of these rumors and stuff like that can be put to bed. And all the mock drafts and all of this stuff can finally be put to bed. So we're excited about the draft tomorrow and talk about the draft prospects. But I think talk about some prospects that we should be looking out for. That will likely be there at 24, or could be there at 24. But did we say before we get started, please like the video?
Yes, definitely do that. Yeah, we just kind of hopped in, but yeah, of course, as usual, you guys, before we get too deep inside, if you guys listen on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, as Star mentioned earlier, like wherever you guys listen to that, or X, formerly known as Twitter, however you guys want to call it these days, make sure you guys give us a like, give us a share, give us a retweet if you are listening on Twitter, just to hit that share button, we're trying to get our voices out there. We're hoping, we're just about to get this offseason really kicked off, start tomorrow with the draft and going forward with OTAs and things like that. But, just help us grow our voices, let people know that we're going live. So we can get more people to join in and just take a listen to what we have to say, on a regular Wednesday night, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Please help us like, share, and subscribe. As Mickey said, we are both young, upcoming content creators, so we're really trying to grow our platform. So it's free to like our videos. It is free to subscribe.
Yes, shout out the landlord. As he says, free 99. It don't cost nothing.
Right. So it is free. It's free to share as well. And for those who are gracious to us and donate, I appreciate that so much. If anybody donates, I do try to shout you out during the video. You can see our Cash App there on the screen. But I think it's been a lot that's gone on since we talked last. Starting with
where do you want to start? Them finally picking up Micah Parsons' 5th-year option out of nowhere. All of a sudden, okay, now we're seeing something.
So
we were talking about before the press conference that were just out of nowhere. Like I was just telling Star before we jumped on here. I didn't even know it. She said the same thing. She didn't even know the press conference was going on until they said that they was live at that moment. So and I kind of caught up a little bit late, after I get off work. But I was like, wow, they had a whole 20-30 minute almost press conference. You know what I'm saying? So
it was pretty long. They was getting grilled. Joey, you said, how do you feel about Bateman? Are you talking about Rashad Bateman that plays for the Raiders, or who's Bateman? Let me know. I think we could start off. The news cycle started off with Dak's press conference. That he did. It wasn't even supposed to be a press conference. He's literally
exactly
like he's doing a charity event for cancer, for children's cancer.
Right. The media gotta come sneaking up. It can be a whole charity event, but they gotta start asking questions about contracts and
they always got to do that. It's like I'm about to say you ninjas just be showing up like you supposed to be here caring about the kids.
Right.
Y'all just couldn't wait. Like as soon as we get the chance, we're gonna ask
y'all doing. Right.
These contract questions, but
you think we playing next year? I know we can't talk contracts, but you think we'll be next year?
Do you have any fears? Do you have any fears?
Come on now. And I think that. And I was telling you this before we jumped on Star. We can just talk about it on camera. But I love this attitude. I'm sure everyone is feeling the same way. I love this attitude from Dak. I love this, just and not that he never did it before. You know what I'm saying? Like he's poking his chest out, like he shrugged his shoulders before he answered the question. He was like he shrugged his shoulders and he just do not care.
Dak is definitely in that F around and find out mood, and I love it because I think I had put on Twitter, I was like, Dak basically told them, listen, I can find another you in a minute. And
I saw that. He ain't no company man today. I saw that. Ain't no company man.
So I think when it comes to Dak, and I think that was just a major transition for Dak because Dak is always Mr. Positive. Everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, because when they had talked to him earlier this year, or earlier this offseason, he was like, yeah, this is gonna get done, But of course, his tune changed where he was like, basically like, listen, I want to be here. Basically, if you really look at what Dak did, he's been doing what Jerry and them are doing. Because when Jerry and them are asked, when they keep being asked about Dak, they're like, oh, we love Dak. Dak is our guy. We want Dak. We know where our feet are. We're right here. We're in the present. And so that's what Dak said. He's like, listen, I'm right here for right now.
Right. And you heard that right. The key words.
Exactly. I'm right here for right now. And we'll see what happens in the future. Letting Jerry and them know, like, just how y'all feel like y'all can move off of me, I can move off of you. You know what I'm saying? And I put it on Twitter or X today as well. I said, I really do have a theory that all of these clubs low key waiting to see what happens with Dak's contract.
Facts. You see, a lot. We talk about 1-year contracts with our organization. I was surprised to hear, the Steelers signed Russell Wilson only to 1 year. Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson in 1 year. They didn't take Justin Fields' option. So it's like all these clubs, they don't want to get tied down. They're not trying to get tied down. Right. You know why they're not trying to get
tie me down? Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You know why they're not trying to get tied down, because they trying to get in on a potential 2025 Dak Prescott sweepstakes is what they're trying to get in on. Every team is
coming off a runner-up MVP year.
Exactly. That's
touchdowns. I mean, what are we talking about? Like, what
are they rubbing hands?
We like everybody else. Like, I'm trying to like we hyping up everybody else for real. If we keep messing around, and like I said, I love this attitude from Dak. I love this feeling that he's giving off. Like I said, he's always been, respectable and never. He's not even being disrespectful now. He's just saying, like you said, Star, like, hey, like he's being real. But then like you said, he's always been like, okay, for the Cowboys, I want to put the Cowboys. Cowboys this, Cowboys that. It's always this. It's my favorite team. I don't want to go nowhere.
Cowboys don't think about another team.
Exactly. Nothing. Exactly.
But guess what?
For right now.
Exactly.
Okay,
that whole tune changed up.
I'm like, what? Like, I'm tearing up. I'm like, I don't know how to feel right now about Dak potentially leaving. I don't want to talk about it right now because it's not. I ain't trying to put it out there, but it's like for Dak, like I just love that he's like kind of coming off his humbleness a little bit. Like, hey, like
right, exactly, and he should. He should. He got to start walking out with his chest out because it's like Dak. At this point, like, you know who you are. Right. Like, you are that dude. Mm-hmm. You are that dude. You are that ninja. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You are one of them ones. You are a top 5 quarterback in this league. If Jerry and Steve want to be dumb and play games, let them play games. Because, like I said,
that's everything I got from that Star.
It took common sense. Glad to see you, Common Sense. I haven't seen you in here in a while. Glad to see you. But as I was saying, like, Dak got to stop acting like stop trying to let Jerry and Steve, y'all trying to act like y'all son and me. Like right. I need y'all. Like, I need y'all to be real of it. Like, exactly. I'm trying to tell you, if Dak were to hit the open market in 2025, I keep saying you would be shocked the amount of teams that reach out.
Right.
Even these teams where y'all say, this team is a lock, this team are
right.
Are you sure about that?
There's not. I'm for sure, but I don't know about other quarterbacks who have no trade clauses in their contract. So I'm sure a team will waste no time to be like, okay, you go ahead and get going. Or
exactly.
You go play backup. Oh, okay.
Exactly.
You're looking for a team.
Exactly. So I think it all comes down to what's up, Kelvin? Glad to see you.
How you doing, son? How you doing?
But I think it's all about Dak just what they call letting your nuts hang. You know what I'm saying? Like, let your nuts hang.
Yes.
And walk with your chest out and be like, listen, y'all want to move on? Go ahead. Like, Dak already knows there's multiple teams lined up. There may be teams already like just slipping notes to our friends, letting him know, like, hey, if Dak hits the market, give us a call. You know what I'm saying? So I think, all in all, Dak is going to be here for 2024. Now, whether he be here for 2025, I don't know. But I'm like, when it comes to 2024, comments, two was one of them. Miami, I think Miami let me hold off. The Lions, too. I think the Lions, like, listen, we like golf, but let's hold on.
And with the Rams? Look, how old is Stafford?
Exactly. Let's hold off. Everybody like, let's hold off. Let's see
for
what happens.
my two teams that I think that would probably be jumping. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, the Steelers, but the Saints as well. Like the Saints is kind of, we have a lot of these teams. Atlanta, they just drafted. Oh boy, and then they sent him. I forget what, I think Seattle or something like that.
The Saints, the Broncos. Sean Payton been wanting that since he been with since 2020, 2021. That's how long Sean Payton been wanting that. Like, you guys really don't understand. Like, Dak is top level.
Right.
Don't let internet trolls fool you. Like, Dak is top level.
Don't let
NFL coaches and NFL franchises' eyes. And I think many have their eyes set on what are y'all doing over there? Because they are praying Jerry and Steven let Dak walk. They're like, please do it. Please do it.
They catch them slipping like Queen Bee said. I pray I catch you slipping, because the moment that Dak hits the market, I'm telling you, man,
in common sense, I thought, shout out. Let me not shout him out, because KD Drummond is this guy. I guess I'm shouting you out, but I really don't want to shout you out, because it's like you the one who put this out that this potential Dak trade to the Raiders. And I'm like, when you really think about it, like, the Raiders are terrible. Like, yeah, they got a good coach, we think. Right. You know what I'm saying? That he's good. He's a first-time coach. He ain't did nothing. But look at that roster. They got Devontae Adams and who?
Right.
They just got rid of Josh Jacobs, which was the best player on their offense.
And that's
run out who? Zamir White? Is that who they running out for the running back? Zamir White? Like, be for real. Who on their defense besides Mad Max?
Right.
Like, why in what world, why would that go there? That's what I'm just saying. Like, and the Raiders are known for, they can't draft.
Right.
And they're known for doing weirdo stuff. Like, if Dak really went there, like, it'd be like, Dak, did you think this through at all? You know what I'm saying?
That would actually be like regression for Dak, like, for real. Like you mentioned, like, Star, like, they just had a coach change. They went through multiple quarterback changes, I think, over the last few years that they had, when they had Jimmy.
Quarterback changes.
You know what I'm saying?
Their line sucks. Like, that roster is not good.
Right.
The Raiders roster is not good. You can't get somebody try to convince me right now that the Raiders roster is good. Like, why would that go there? You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't make sense. Like, there's plenty of other teams that are better, like Miami.
Right.
That he could go to.
That have offense.
The Lions, Seattle. Like, there's way better rosters out there for Dak to go to where he could literally be the missing link. Right. You go to the Raiders, like, they're in full rebuild mode. So it's just like, it would be weird for him to go there. But I mean, if he wants to, whatever. I mean, that's prerogative. But I just think it'd be weird. But either way.
But what I do want to point out also, before we move on, I want to point out that also we did see Dak kind of poking his chest up. But I also like seeing from him is that he still is just kind of remiss of his teammates. He's always saying, "Hey, I'm here for the teammates. I'm here for my team. You know, whatever these guys need me to do, I know they look to me to be the leader. I'm still here to guide these teams." Like, sometimes when players kind of get upset, I mean, it's only come to my mind today because I seen that T. Higgins was a franchise tag. But last year we seen a lot of chirping from Chase, on the Bengals. Chirping about how he wants to get paid, how he wants this, he wants that. Some players.
He did say that. Chase did. He said that last year. He was very
adamant about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
adamant. He was basically like FT Higgins. Basically, he's like, I don't know how much he's gonna get paid. He'll get paid once I get paid.
You know what I'm saying?
That don't seem very
to your teammate.
Mate-ish.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. So it's like some of these guys, and I'm not saying this how he is, but from what we see when the outside looking in, some of these guys seem to get caught up in their own contract. They don't really, sometimes they don't, maybe like somebody they focus on the team, or, hey, I want to get my money. I want to get paid. I want this. I should be getting the ball. I should be getting, more touches. And CD did do that, but he also said to implement in the offense, get these other guys open because it helps other guys. Right. You all always hear CD mention the other guys as well. So what I like is that Dak is still maintaining his, his head of leadership. Showing these guys, still showing an example that he can still, I may be going through this BS with my contract. They may be trying to play me, but at the same time, I can still keep my.
I'm still here for my teammates.
Exactly,
and I think you can really see that from, him being at OTAs and stuff like that. Like,
Right.
Him being at OTAs don't have nothing to do with trying to be a good old boy and save face. Like him going to OTAs is so that he can be there from day one, building that relationship with his team, because he knows that at the end of the day, what Jerry say, we go as far as that goes. So he knows that he's going to be expected this year to elevate this roster.
Right.
He's going to be expected to elevate this roster. He's going to be here. He's chosen to be here for 2024. You know, granted, something crazy don't happen and he gets traded tomorrow, but he chose to be here in 2024. So he knows that if Dak wants to win a Super Bowl. So, you know, we the fans, we talking about, you know, at first, which I don't think fans are saying it much anymore, but at the beginning of the offseason, it was like, we're tanking, all this stuff.
Right.
Dak is not in that headspace. Every year, Dak is trying to win a Super Bowl, regardless of what this roster looks like. And it's never going to be in his head, I can't win. You know what I'm saying? So exactly. I think that's what it's about. It's just about leadership. And, you know, you have CD and the Micahs holding out. But CD and Micah holding out, they never got their first. They haven't even got, this is their first contract.
Exactly.
So it makes sense. And on top of that, CD's a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons is an edge. Dak is literally the leader of the team. So although I know his teammates would understand, for Dak, it's just about building that connection with his guys, because that's what's most important. Like, he could play the game with Jerry and Steven, but he's like, I don't need to play the game with y'all. Y'all either gonna sign me or I'm done next year. Like that's what Dak put out, basically. Like, I don't care what y'all do. Either you're going to sign me, or I'm leaving next, or I'm moving on, and someone else will sign me. Like, I don't need to miss. I don't need to go to Cabo and hold out. Dak is like, I don't need to do none of that shit. You gonna sign me or you're not. Like, and I like that attitude, because it's like you're in control. You don't need to let Jerry and Steven control your actions and behavior.
Exactly. And he's putting out for people to see it too, letting people know that I'm not letting these two guys try to play me. Like, you know, you guys listen to them if you want, but you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, like, what really threw me for a loop is, like, you know, we all talk about how the contract isn't done, they haven't finalized, you know, the big three contracts, but when Dak actually came out and said, hey, when the real talks begin, I'm like, come on now. Like, I know
they not talking.
Like, seriously?
Which brings us to this press conference. And first of all, shout out to David in the chat. I agree with you, Kelvin. Yeah, Dak does not believe in tanking at all. Common sense. I also saw your comment. And don't get me wrong, like, I think Coach Pierce, I mean, he seems like a coach, a player's coach, and the players really bought into him. So I see what you're saying with Coach Pierce. I just think the situation overall of the Raiders is not good right now. If I was Dak and I'm trying to go to another team to win a Super Bowl, I wouldn't go to the Raiders, because they're not at that point yet. That's all what I was saying. But I'm not taking the shit on Coach Pierce, because I do think he showed to be a good coach last year. We'll see how he does this year.
Definitely.
What's up, Tyrone Church? Glad to see everybody in the chat. But anyway, moving on, transitioning to this press conference yesterday.
Yeah. yes. That's actually a perfect segue, because just the stuff that Jerry was talking, Steven was talking. What I will take away is that I like that Mike McCarthy was staying the heck out of it. Like, hey, look, y'all feeling them questions. Now y'all get to feel the heat in the back of y'all neck. But I get to sit over here and chill while y'all talk about the money. Like I like that he said, like, I don't deal with of course, this is just me, putting in my own terms, y'all. He said, I don't deal with the money side. I let y'all deal with it. My job as a head coach, and this is just part of what he said, my job as a head coach is to make sure these guys are, know their position, know the scheme, translate it, to amongst the coaches and amongst the other players, and get them, down with the scheme, learning how to, work well together on the field, let these guys handle the financial side. Just, like you said, it's not just one player. It's not just one guy who can get it done. It's all these players. And what I like what he says is that each player is a part of the whole entire plan of being put together a team, put together things like that. Like, he's saying it's not just one player. And of course, he can point it out directly and say it's not just Dak, it's not just CD, it's not just Mike, it's not just about these three guys getting signed and, that's the answer. I like that he put hey, it's, these guys, even the young guys, like he said, the young guys coming on that we're going to get, as late as this year, just coming on this year, these guys are still going to be a part of the plan, but we can't go in, saying, okay, the draft is going to fix our problems. know what I'm saying? These young guys will come in and
and that's, you see what you said, and that shows. I'm glad you said that, Mickey, because that shows a difference in philosophy. Exactly. Because we know the front office is, they believe, you know what, Will McClay, shout out to Boss Cowboy, if you pick him, you got to play him. Right. You know, draft picks, you know, they are seeing the draft picks as you're coming in, you're starting, you're contributing today. Right. I like McCarthy said, that's not what I believe. He said, listen, you come in, you learn, and if you are a starter or you are a contributor this year, then that's great. But you cannot rely on rookies to come in and save the day, because that's just unrealistic. You know, and it's not saying rookies can't contribute. That's BS. Of course they can contribute. Look at the Chiefs. Look at the Lions. Rookies can 100% contribute, but again, they're contributing. They can't be the savior. You feel me? So it's like everybody here, everybody on the core that's here right now is really who you, what I would say is most important. You're bringing in the rookies to enhance. So it does show a different philosophy, but I do think that Mike McCarthy, he talked a lot about, when he did talk, about competition, and now he wants competition in all of these rooms, and he wants guys that he said to come in, like with the offensive line and with the running back room. He's like, I want guys to come in today, and the guys that we pick, you know, in those early rounds, these are guys that we are hoping that when we pick them, they made the room better.
Right.
They made the room better. So I do think that, you know, last year was considered like a futures needs draft, but I do think this year we are drafting for it right now. And you know, Mike McCarthy, he has to, because he's not extended.
Right.
So this year is all he's really got. You know what I'm saying? So they've got to get contributors this year. You know, that's what I put on X. I said, you know, every team, the final four teams, the final four NFL teams last year, which was the Lions, the 49ers, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. I said each of those teams to get over the hump, and I'm considering getting over the hump to get to a championship game, not the Super Bowl. Right. But I say each one of those teams to get over the hump, they had to bring in some free agents to enhance their roster, right? And I said, you know, unfortunately, it seems like we haven't found those one or two free agents that can come in and really bolster this roster to a different level. You know, we were hoping last year would be Gillian Cooks, but it turned out that wasn't the case. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, are you sure, Star? I mean, I think I heard Steven saying the person that they won the offseason last year. I mean,
you know, yeah, we won the offseason by getting, and don't get me wrong, Gilly and Cooks helped us, right?
Yeah.
I think Cooks had 8 touchdowns. Gilly had a pretty good season until the Green Bay game, but in his defense, nobody on that defense knew what the hell was going on. But I think that, you know, and Cooks could be that missing link or that missing piece in the second year of Mike McCarthy's offense. But I was saying, like, I think we had that free agent or that trade acquisition in Amari Cooper, but we let him go. And I think that's the one piece that we really are missing. Right. We are really missing that other big time playmaker, right? We're also missing a running game, but we are missing that. I firmly believe in 2022, if we have Amari Cooper on that roster and everybody else is the same, we go to the NFC Championship.
Absolutely.
Because that's how dynamic of a player he is. You know, think of how the Lions, how they added David Montgomery, right? Completely changed their offense, you know. Right. Obviously the 49ers, Christian McCaffrey, you know. Chiefs, you know, they add in free agents and draft picks and stuff like that.
They have no problem in free agency. Like
their offensive line, they're constantly, like, every 2 to 3 years, the Chiefs is signing a new offensive lineman, because that's where they put most of their value in the team building, in the, you know, off-season trade acquisitions. But when the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl, who did they add? Frank Clark, Mitchell Schwartz, which was and both of those guys had like Pro Bowl, All Pro years the year that they won Super Bowl. So I think the Cowboys right now, and I said Eric Kendricks. I know many people are not that excited about that acquisition, but I'm like, we really haven't had a true Mike linebacker since Sean Lee.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like Jalen Smith, he played it, but he wasn't a true Mike, and neither was LVE. Right. So it's gonna be to see our defense have a true Mike linebacker. It's gonna be very interesting, especially with this core that we have, to see how does it really impact us and help us, right? But I said, even with that, even with Brandon Cooks and Eric Kendricks, whatever, we still gonna need more help. So that's why I'm glad that it seems like, based off what Mike, Jerry, and Steven are saying, is that we are drafting for right now. We're not drafting for the future. Right? Because there can also be rookies that come in, like Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, that can come in and help your roster tremendously. So go ahead.
No, I think that's a huge point you make. And that's actually something that Jerry actually pointed out in the presser himself. And actually got kind of course, not upset for real, but just kind of ticked off because, of course, we know Jerry likes to have his comparisons where, well, if you don't have that one particular guy, it'd be like we talk about free agency. Instead of getting this one particular guy, we got 3 guys over here. Who we wouldn't have been able to get if we didn't get this. We didn't get rid of this one guy. But my first thing that popped up in the back of my head was, well, yeah, you got 3 guys over here who we quote unquote said was the same in talent, but they may not have the same talent. The one guy over here, like you mentioned, could really bolster up the roster, and that's to make a huge difference.
Right. And so that's the Marshall's philosophy.
Yes,
that's how Jerry and Steven think. They think that, we could get this one great player, right? But why would we get this one great player when we can get 3 players? It's like we can get 3 players for the price of one. And it's like, okay. And he's like, I get it, right? Because he's like, it's better for the aspect of availability. It's better financially.
Right.
I get that because say you do spend all this money, you get Derrick Henry. That was a big free agent that the fan base pretty much wanted. And then Derrick Henry goes down week 1. Then it's like, what I'm saying? Exactly. So I get it, but what I think is that I really don't have issues with bringing in Marshall's free agents, because I think a lot of times the Marshall's free agents that we do bring in are contributors. They do help. But the problem with the front office as well is they play the politics game where they favor draft picks, some draft picks, not all, but they favor some particular draft picks over. So it's like you brought in these free agents to come in and contribute, but you're not really letting them get on the field.
Exactly.
So it's like you had a Dante Fowler here, who was a former first-round pick, had Pro Bowls and stuff, but you barely let him see on the field because you wanted your 4th-round draft pick and Dorrance Armstrong to stay on the field.
Right, exactly.
And now look at Dorrance Armstrong. On to the Washington
Commanders. No, right, exactly.
So it's like
at the same time, I don't mean cut you off, but at the same time, when you're not letting that other guy on the field, they're only getting practice experience, or they're only getting camp experience. So they're not getting game-time experience.
They're not getting live reps. And that's the only way you can grow is if you get live reps. That's the only way you can get better. So that's really the issue with, because Will McClay is a mastermind. I mean, he strikes gold. Undrafted free agents.
Right. Yep.
The lower round draft picks. I mean, he finds all pros. So Will McClay is really that dude. But I do think that there are some positions where it's like you can't really go cheap or you can't really go rookie here. One is a middle linebacker. 2 is a defensive tackle. Right. Those are 2 positions where it's like we can't really use a rookie for these positions. These are positions where you need experience. So that's the one, we were saying, where's our gaping holes as far as our roster is really D tackle. Yeah. I would say D tackle and running back, right? D tackle and running back are the 2 positions that's like we need dudes at these positions.
Yes.
We need dudes. I'm tired of this run. We tried the running back by committee. It's not it. It's not it. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And I think if you look at these other teams, you can have a duo, but you need a dynamic duo. You need a Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. You can't have Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle. That's not gonna work.
Not at all. Especially when coming into last year, especially when Rico didn't have that much game experience himself.
Right.
Like,
it was a disaster. It was like, this is not gonna work.
Exactly. And even coming to this year, I think I saw right before we hopped on, they were meeting with Zeke's people tonight. Shout out to Zeke. He gave us
shout out to Zeke.
So and just like you said, Star, I guess they're probably thinking the same thing the night before the draft. Like, or do we really want to go running back by committee? And it's not like they forgot about Zeke. I'm sure they just going along with the plan they had before. But for whatever reason, they signed Royce Freeman. But
you're right.
So they're still meeting with Zeke. I'm not mad at that, but I just feel a little bit weird about that because you already signed Royce Freeman, and I know that he's probably going to just be a camp body. But if you're going to do that, why not meet with Zeke, earlier and sign with him? But I'm sure they have a plan, going on. But like you said, Star, just going into this draft, like you mentioned earlier, those two gaping holes that we have at DT and running back, like those are positions that you can't just have. Yeah, you can like you mentioned, Jahmyr Gibbs did come in and he showed up for the and even. I forget his name right now. I think Bijan went to Falcons, and he did his for the Falcons as well as a rookie. So you mentioned rookies can contribip, but you don't want, like you said, you don't want to go into a year.
We can't count on them. You can't depend on a rookie. That's the problem. Like, you can, if they come in and they helping and they're an asset, great. Yeah. But like Mike McCarthy said, you can't come in dependent saying these rookies are going to fill these holes,
right?
Because you don't know. When you're drafting, it's a crapshoot. You don't know who's going to hit, who's not. You can do all the evaluations you want, but that's why there's busts in the NFL. But I think, like, ultimately, the Cowboys being a draft and develop team is fine. All the best teams in the NFL are draft and develop. That's the only way you can be sustainable as a team, right? It's to draft and develop but we have to find that one or two free agents. And like I said, it could be Eric Peters. It could be Brandon, because I don't know. But we've got to find those one or two free agents that can help bolster us and push us what we call over the hump. You know what I'm saying? So that's that's the one thing that we're really missing. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if we just there's just a piece missing. I don't know. And it probably is, because if we can stop the freaking run,
yes,
we can win in the playoffs.
Right.
But the problem is, like, we haven't been able to stop the run.
Right.
Pretty much the past 3 to 4. I mean, forever.
For real, yeah.
Forever. I mean, during Dak's whole year, we haven't been able to stop the run.
Oh my gosh, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's another thing that kind of pissed me off a little bit, what Jerry was talking about during the meeting, during the pressure, because it's like you mentioned earlier, like, all the pressure is on Dak. But like you talked about earlier, Mike is saying that not one person can do it all. And we heard Jerry in the pressure saying, like, well, Cooper was 5-1 against these teams and this, that, and the third. So the teams that Cooper didn't beat, we need Dak to beat. And, another thing he said, during Dak's whole career, he's been blessed with having, a standout roster, I forget the exact words he used, but pretty much having a standout roster. And he pretty much and that's what kind of gets me about how they, like you said, how they project, how they feel about Dak without necessarily saying it. But of course, I'm sure everyone else got it. Like, they're saying that, Dak pretty much we needed all this year to get the job done. And then Cooper coming in with his little 5-1. And, Dak just needs to do what Cooper does and beat the teams that Cooper couldn't beat. But at the same time, like you mentioned, two different philosophies. You have the head coach saying that it's not a one-man team. It's not something that the quarterback will do carry on his back. Like you said, I guess it's just crazy.
Jerry and them, this is the issue with Jerry and them. Like, they believe, and to Jerry's point, everybody got upset about, Jerry saying that as you have, like, more players that are top heavy with the cap, the supporting cast is not going to be, you're going to have to diminish it.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, in theory, that is true. Look at what the Chiefs have done. right? Like they've stripped Patrick Mahomes down to nothing. They realized, like, listen, you got Kelsey, we got Pacheco on a rookie deal. We gonna keep fixing the offensive line, and that's it because we can't afford. They just let their All Pro corner go. They let Tyreek Hill go. You know what I'm saying? So they're not lying. You know what I'm saying? They're not telling lies. Whenever you have look at what happened over there in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? Like it happens when you have your. But I mean, in theory, when you have a top flight quarterback, your top flight quarterback, he can make it work with different. He can make it work compared to a rookie quarterback. A rookie quarterback or a quarterback on the first 4 years, they need loaded teams.
Exactly.
Because they don't have the experience and all of that type of stuff. But as you get better and more experience, you don't need a loaded roster to be great. You know, yes, there are teams that did it. The Rams did it. The Bucks did it. Yes, they did do it. They went all in. They bought every free agent possible. Right. So yes, you can do it, but you don't have to do it that way to be successful. You know what I'm saying? But the issue with Jerry and Steven is you never loaded the clip. You never, when Dak was getting paid like $2, that's my problem with Jerry and Steven. When Dak was getting paid like $2, you weren't loading the clip. You talk about we surrounded Dak with some of the best rosters in football. When and where?
Right.
2016 defense was terrible.
Allen Hurns.
And I don't care what the defense was ranked that year, they was not good. Because it was clear. Once we played the Packers, it was like, this defense is ass. So, moving on. 2017, we didn't even make playoffs. 2018, we was sinking deep in sin, and then Amari Cooper came, and then him and Dak hit it off. Yep. And we almost got far that year, but our defense faced all these injuries and got historic numbers put on them in the playoffs, which is crazy.
By a guy off the couch.
But yeah, two 100-yard rushers in the playoffs is crazy. So
that's crazy.
Amazing roster. Then 2019, you had Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup, and I don't even know who the third wide receiver was. And Cole Beasley.
I think Beasley. I think he left in 2018. I think he went to the Bills.
I don't even know. So it's like, but the defense wasn't great in 2019. We didn't make the playoffs. Then you move into 2020, the worst defense in franchise history. Then you move into 2021. Okay, that was a pretty good defense. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was a pretty solid defense. We had like a top 15 defense. We had pretty good offense, right? But the issue with that was our coordinator at that time, right? Our offensive coordinator, who is an idiot, you know what I'm saying? Like, you had Kellen Moore, who didn't want to run the ball, didn't want to run the ball, and didn't want to target Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb in a playoff game. Okay, then you move into 2022. You take Amari Cooper away. You got Dak week 1 rolling out with Dennis Houston and Noah Brown. So it's like, Jerry, stop the cap.
Training camp bodies in week 1.
Week 1. It's like, Jerry, stop the cap.
Come on.
Dak has not had he's had one of the best. It's like, stop it.
Right.
Dak has consistently gotten better, and that's why we've been relevant all these years. Right. But if Dak was mid, these rosters aren't going anywhere. I think
it was from Green Bay. I forget his name right now.
Randall Cobb.
Yes, that's who it was. That's the Randall Cobb.
And Dak resurged his career, got him a bag in the with the Texans. So it's just like, Jerry, stop the cap.
And went back to Green Bay for another year. So come on.
Right. It's like, no, you did not. You've never loaded the clip. You haven't surrounded Dak with no super talented rosters. His offensive line been a mess since 2016. Been a mess.
Right.
It's like, shut up, Jerry.
They pretty much
lying.
Like you said, they pretty much put out that they're not. I mean, we already know that they were really doing things off season. But for like you mentioned earlier, like for Jerry to say that now that's going to have to diminish, quote unquote, his supporting cast is going to have to diminish now. It's like, what were you really doing before? So now you're just
exactly. And that's what people are getting mad. And I don't want to annoy y'all in the chat. I think somebody said about the offensive line. I do think we do need to fix the offensive line scheme 100%. I think Solari was a little bit outdated.
Yeah.
And I think they did bring in somebody to come and help us with that. His name's Steve Shimko from Boston College.
Okay.
I think we brought him in to help coordinate the run game because the run scheme was bad last year. It was not good. So I agree with that 100%. I mean, we're going to get a good running back, and a good running back can make up some for terrible blocking, but not all. So we definitely going to have to fix the scheme if we want to be effective in the run game.
Yes, but absolutely teach them not to switch too much, but actually absolutely teach that running back pass blocking, because that's the reason why it was such a big hit when Zeke left, because in Pollard as well, not him leaving going to the Titans. It's like, okay, so not trying to knock Rico. Rico was decent, but we definitely need a running back who's going to be able to pick up that, be able to pick up pass blocking. Absolutely, especially with us losing Tyron. So that left side is going to be even more, just a little bit more unstable for Dak. So to have a new running back, a new left tackle, depending on what they do with Tyler, of course. So and then having a new center, having to build that chemistry. Although they may go with Hoffman, they do have some kind of repertoire going on so far, but. It just putting that much around Dak, what I'm saying, just trying to get to my point of it, just putting that much newness, quote unquote, around Dak, and for you to be saying like, well, Dak has always had this, quote unquote,
right? It's lies. It's lies. Like that's not true, Jerry. Right, now I will say this. Just
finish my point real quick. Just saying that you're using it as an excuse to take away the talent around him, literally around him, that surrounds him. That front line is supposed to be protecting him. It's just like they're not only playing with Dak's money, but they're also, kind of just in my opinion, just kind of playing with him his career, really, because you don't do your quarterback like that. Then you take away the talent around them and to use him as an excuse to why you're doing it.
Yeah, I think this is the problem. Is what Jerry and Steven is saying is what happens, but it's like no one says that. Like the Chiefs don't get up and say, like we're gonna have to we're gonna have to take Tyreek away. We're gonna have to take L'Jarius Sneed away because we're paying Pat all this money. It's like they only say that bullshit. Excuse me, Lane, but they only say that bullshit for the low-minded fans. But it's like Jerry and Steven, like if y'all cannot sense the temperature of the fans. Like, they kind of talk to the fans like we're still these clueless idiots. And it's like, yeah, maybe 4 or 5 years ago you could say this, but it's like the fan base is fed up. Right. Green Bay broke this fan base. Honestly, Green Bay, they didn't break us. They opened our eyes. Thank you, Green Bay. Green Bay opened the fan base's eyes. So it's like now you can't just be saying stuff to us like it's all wee-woo. And they only say that stuff because they're trying to get the fans to calm down. And so they're like, oh, so they want to blame it on this person and blame it on that person instead of taking accountability for what they did. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did that. You did that. Stop trying to blame it on that. That's the only reason why they say that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. And so I think ultimately the offensive line, I think I'm going to go ahead and win and say it's going to be better. I have been saying for the past 2 years we need to get younger. Yeah. I've been saying it for the past 2 years. Like, we got to get younger on this offensive line. Yes. I love you, Tyron.
We saw the spark that Tyler brought, Tyler Smith, and not going to be honest, but he brought a little spark too. Because last year I did like what I did see from him, standing for his quarterback, willing to get, gritty with some of the guys he was going against. So I do like, and speaking of the youngest coming up, Brock Hoffman, we saw how, down he got, at the line, at the goal line. So just seeing these young guys, like I think you mentioned it last week, Star, we talk about, putting the mindset in these younger guys that they have to step up. It's going to make them even more hungry. So I just like that. Like, younger at the position is definitely going to help us.
Right. Like, we need to get younger. Thank you, Tyron Smith, for your services. I'm hoping to God, this is Zach Martin's last year with us. Right. I love Zach Martin, but Zach Martin is slowly but surely declining. Yeah. And I know, he's not a demigod. He's still pretty good. I do think he's still pretty good, but
we need,
I'm going to just say this. Zach Martin is declining at a rapid rate. That's what I will say. Yeah. So, like, he was not great last year, and he's gonna be worse. Now, am I saying get rid of him this year? Hell no. We need to keep Zach because he is better than most guards in the league. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I'm just saying, if we want to restore our offensive line back to greatness, it's time to rebuild. We got to go younger. Yeah, that's been my opinion for 2 years. So with the offensive line, we're gonna go younger. And really, what they mean by diminish is that we're gonna rely on young players. That's what they mean. Like, we're gonna sign CD, but the rest of the guys is gonna be young players that we believe are gonna have to step up. Right. And it's like Steven and Jerry, that's been what we've done. All you've done is sign what cracks me up with Jerry and Steven. It's like Jerry and Steven, y'all really trying to act like y'all trying to say, oh, we so broke. And I'm like, broke from what? Right. We don't sign. We don't.
Last year was a real first offseason where you guys really made.
And that was via trade though. Like, we don't spend money. We've never spent money in free agency before, but for Marshall's free agents.
Exactly. Like,
so basically, everybody get mad.
Last one, wasn't it? Cooper?
Yeah.
Like the last Cooper. Major contract, and then they didn't even want to re-up on him.
So basically, what they're saying is like we're gonna do what we've always done, draft and develop. You know what I'm saying? I just wish that when Will McClay brings in here talent from the USFL and the undrafted free agents and shit like that, like let the coaches coach, stay out of it. That be the problem.
Right.
But you know what? I am glad because that wall that Steven and them used to be like, he needs to be on the field. That don't exist no more. So I do think truly this year we are going to have real competition in every spot will be earned this year. Because we don't have that wall or enough bodies to block this player or block this player. It's like, no, we ain't got that. So it's like the young players.
Yeah, we did lose a lot. Not a lot of starters, but we lost some very important guys and a little bit of the depth that we had backing up those starters. So like you mentioned, guys, like you mentioned, a lot of these young guys are going to have to step up into those positions that they played last year. And like a good thing, we do have some guys go back to their original position, so that'll get their mindset, a little bit more calmer and help it, a little bit more steady in the position that they are going to play. Like we have Marquise Bell, I'm saying, go back to his original position. Damone Clark, won't be so, just bogged down.
He's not going to be in the Mike position because that is not his position.
Exactly.
So, I think.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying that with Jerry and Steven, it's like, don't get so upset, fans, Cowboys Nation, about what they say. Look at what they do. Because they say a lot of stuff, but it's like, listen, only way, is CD going to be here next year? Yeah, okay. Is Brandon Cooks going to be here this year? Yeah. Is Jake Ferguson going to be here this year? Yeah. Okay. Is Tyler Smith going to be here this year? Yeah. Is Zach Martin going to be here? Is Terrence Steele going to be here? Yeah. Okay. It's are we going to draft a rookie running back? Yeah. Are we likely going to get us a very good rookie center or guard or tackle? Yeah. So it's like, we're fine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Really, on the defense, we're fine for the most part, besides that D tackle position.
Right.
But regardless, like, we've got to be able to stop the run and run the ball.
Yes.
But with Jerry and Steven, like, their philosophy, we got to wait for the leaves to fall and stuff.
Yeah, not trying to reset the market and all.
It doesn't make sense, Cowboys Nation. It does not make sense. Okay, but this is their way. They don't. They are from the. It's from the. They have trauma. It's Steven trauma from the Zeke contract.
Right.
Brandon and the Lyle Collins and the Brandon Collins. They have PTSD in those contracts.
Right.
Because they paid all that money. And Lyle never played the same after that.
Exactly.
We paid Lyle, and then he missed 2 seasons back to back.
Mm-hmm.
You pay Zeke, and after we paid Zeke, it was just decline.
And
decline.
And some of it by their own doing. Some of it by their own doing. Paying Michael Gallup right after he got hurt. Paying Terrence Steele. Paying Tony Pollard on the 1-year deal on the tag.
Jalen Smith, like,
that we were
Y'all
still
the
paying
one
on, that we were still paying on like what last year, past couple
last
years?
year, yeah, I think so. It's like, but y'all got yourselves into these contracts that y'all should not have. But honestly, I mean, I can't with Jalen Smith, Zeke paying him that record-breaking money kind of crazy. But see, honestly, Cowboys Nation, that contract was kind of forced on them by Cowboys Nation because there was idiots in Cowboys. Well, let me not say idiots, but there was a divide in Cowboys Nation because Cowboys Nation, remember y'all kept saying it was Zeke. Everything was Zeke. It didn't matter what. Dak was irrelevant. Dak was irrelevant. He wasn't good. Everything of our success came from Zeke. Right. So the front office felt pressure like, okay, well, let's pay Zeke this money because he's our guy. We saw quickly.
And he held out too, so they felt even more pressure from that.
Right, even more pressure. And then we found out quickly this team is nothing without Dak. You know what I'm saying? But they thought, like Zeke, in 2020, Zeke is going to step up and this team.
You think that's the situation with a lot of our players, though? Because do you think there was pressure to pay Gallup and Steele? Dak had got hurt.
Steele, I'm fine with them paying Steele. I don't have a problem with Steele. I knew Steele. I have a problem with them rushing Steele back. But paying Steele was not the problem. Steele had great tape. 2021, 2022, before he got hurt, he was like our best run blocker.
Right.
One of our best offensive linemen. I don't have a problem with paying Terrence Steele. Now, Michael Gallup, I'm telling you, front office's big mistake was getting rid of Amari Cooper and keeping Michael Gallup.
Exactly.
That was the biggest mistake that they've made during the Dak era. Everybody else that they've let go or like Lyell, you couldn't predict that. Like Lyell was good. He was good. And then he just was overweight, got hurt and all that stuff. Like, so you can't predict that. You know what I'm saying? I don't like how Jerry and Steven, though, it's like, okay, you've paid some players and it's worked out great, though. So stop trying to act like all the players that you played, all the players that you paid just didn't pan out. And that's kind of like where Jerry, like how I just want to wait for some leaves to fall. And, there's some things we got to see because we don't want to mess up and we don't want to pay, we want to get it right. It's like,
right.
It's like Steven and Jerry, stop it. These guys y'all talking about, this ain't Jalen Smith. This is Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Parsons.
Right.
So stop trying to act like, we just don't know. We can, like, these players are way above La'el Collins, way above Michael Gallup, way above Jalen Smith.
Right. And then he wants to holler, well, I didn't know what was going on with our cap at the time at the Senior Bowl. But then 5 minutes later, you talk about, we know what the cap going to be 5 years from now.
No, he said the opposite. What's up, Big Dale? Glad to see you, brother. No, he said he did know. He said he did know what happened. He said, I knew the cap. He said, I knew our cap situation at the Senior Bowl. What's up, Loves? Glad to see you.
Hey, how you doing, Loves?
Well, ultimately, like, listen. With Jerry and Steven, they say a lot of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of bullshit. And they saying all this stuff, guys, really because the fan base is upset. So they're like, ooh, what do I do? They trying to just deflect. But it's like, it won't work. We know it's y'all. So I say this to Jerry and Steven before we get to the draft picks. Dang, we already been on here for an hour. I'm going to try to go through these draft picks fast because I got to go. But y'all better hit this draft tomorrow, Jerry and Steven.
Yes.
Because y'all are on thin ice with the fan base. And they know it too. They know they're on. Why you think today they're like, oh, Zeke, we might bring Zeke back? Because they literally, like, they know, like, from that presser, how they was getting grilled with those questions. And then they get the reports of how stuff is on Twitter.
Yes, like, you heard Jerry. Like, well, I seen that story floating around. Y'all got 2-3 names for me. Oh, I'm like, so you do be reading the reports. Okay,
exactly. He knows exactly what's going on, and they're like, that's what they know. They got to hit on this draft because if they don't hit on this draft, I can't even begin to think what's going to happen.
Right. Because they're actually getting, I'm not gonna say pressure, but they're like you mentioned, like they're talking about how last year's draft picks, I think from the end of the season, or maybe even throughout the season, they were talking about how the draft picks were on the field a lot. They were healthy scratches. They weren't getting time on the field, and even now in the offseason leading up till now to the draft, they're saying, are they, like you mentioned, are they gonna hit in this draft because last year's draft, ... And we're and even content creators talking about it, the fans talking about it, the B reporters talking about it, like. What did we see on our draft picks last year? And for everyone to come, not everyone, but like you mentioned originally, Jay Tuck Boss put it out that it was going to be it was a futures draft, and now that everyone is seeing that it is that, it's like, okay, so what are you going to do for this year's draft? I'm saying then it kind of shines a light. Shout the Big Game James when I watch his video. He's naming off players from different years, of the Dak era of players who aren't even on the team anymore. So it's like, have you really hit in the draft? Like you guys are thinking you're getting. You guys are thinking you're getting.
The issue with Ben though is that you're not the. First of all, that's an indictment on Dan Quinn because Dan Quinn did not develop anybody while he was here.
Right.
And then you have guys like Connor McGovern, who we really developed. We really developed Connor McGovern, but we didn't allow him to stay here because you have his true position is right guard. You have Zach Martin. You're not going to get rid of Zach Martin for Connor McGovern. Now, you could have if you were smart.
Right.
You could have, but you didn't. That's the problem.
Yep.
And I know people, there's mixed views. Like, can we really draft? Yes, we can draft. Because a draft is a crapshoot, guys. Like, we're getting all pros in the 5th round, or we're getting, we always have contributors. Whether they're still on this team 4 years from now, okay, you can say that about us, but go look at everybody else's team. How many of their draft picks are on their team 4 or 5 years from now? You're not going to re-sign everybody. You're not going to extend everybody because everybody ain't that good. They serviceable for now. Then you move off on them. So I think the Cowboys are, for the most part, pretty good on draft, especially when they just go after the talent and don't really draft for needs. Carl, I will say this. Yeah, it's a lot of Cowboys fans like Carl. Like, if Jerry and Steven, I'm trying to tell you, if they don't get this draft right, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
So they better. That's all I'm gonna say. They better get this draft right. And it loves. We all have given up on or lost faith in Jerry and Steven. Like, well, honestly, I never had faith in Jerry and Steven.
Right. Like you mentioned earlier, we knew that was making the picks. Right. Dak, do on the field. We know it's the coordinator, the coaches and things like that.
Who I trust. Yeah. The only person I really trust on this team through and through is Dak Prescott. The rest of them is like,
right.
I don't know. They're going to have to show up and show out because in big moments, everybody on this team just has a problem. And I don't know if it's just the pressure of being a Dallas Cowboy. I don't know what it is. But in the biggest moments, we've really struggled. And, maybe that's because we didn't have the right coaching. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think maybe we really don't know. This whole year is really going to this is really the year it's going to expose because we do have a hard schedule. So, all we can do is just take it game by game.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. All we can do.
Very much so. New coaches, partially new roster. We have, and it's not just the guys coming in this year for the draft. We have the guys last year who didn't get a ton of experience on the field. So they're going to spend that time reaching out to those draft picks and the draft picks coming in from this year. So they're going to have to almost double down on coaching, try to catch everybody up because like we mentioned earlier with the stars that we have lost and also some of the depth that we lost as well.
Yep. So I think, what they're doing, I think what they're doing is an experiment. I mean, we about to see. That's what I'm saying. We about to see.
Yeah.
Betting on the red shirts.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's a lot of red shirts that we've been wanting to see. It's like I'm excited. I'm excited, but it's also scary because it's uncharted territory, and it's like, is this really gonna work?
Right.
I think the only way it really works is I think it can work like the Chiefs, like the Lions, but you gotta let the coaches coach. And this year, I think they're gonna be forced because, like I said, they let all that wall, all them free agents that left, they're gone. So that wall that was keeping all the young players blocked off, that was keeping free agents off the field. Yeah. I don't think that they can do that this year. So I think we're gonna see everybody this year. Yeah. That we've been wanting to see. Now the issue is, what are these people gonna look like? Because we don't know. Exactly. That's what's scary. Like, we don't know it because we ain't seen them. I just think that, ultimately, but I am excited. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am excited to see the young players. Because I get tired of, like Big Game James said, like, we get these players, but we don't never see them. We never see them, and then all of a sudden now they're on another team. Like, we never got to see this player play.
And especially when they're showing out, like you mentioned earlier, I think with Connor Williams or Connor McGovern, I don't know which one, but both of them, honestly, because we saw them go over to playoff teams. And their true position, like you mentioned, it's just you claim your not claim because they are drafted and developed, but you got to develop the player in their right position. Like, yeah, it's cool to kind of.
That's the key, right position. That's why we're glad people like Marquise Bell is going back to. It's like, stop taking people. The Cowboys, but even before Dan Quinn, remember they tried to switch Byron Jones to safety. It's like, stop trying to take people out of their true positions and let people play. Yes. You did that, but it's always these coordinators and their experiments and all. It's like, I'm tired of it. Right. When you draft a player, you bring them here to play what they played. Right. If they can play another position, great. But you only put them in that position for emergencies. You don't say, I'm going to put you, oh yeah, Mozzie, I know you was one of the best defensive lines, got all these awards for stopping the run, but we're going to bring you here because we want to see if you can pass rush. Like,
in your first year, we're going to change up everything you've been doing for the past, 3-4 years, however long you were in college. Like,
it don't make sense.
At all.
Connor McGovern, we know you're a right guard center, but we're never going to try you out at center, and we're only going to make you play left guard. It don't make sense. Like, stop doing shit that don't make sense. That's to be the problem. Like, stay out of it and let the coaches coach. Are they going to do that? Who the hell knows? Probably not. But like I said, I think they're going to be forced to because you don't have no Dorrance Armstrongs and Fowlers and J-Ron Curses taking up the spot. So they're going to be forced to. How that turns out, yet to be seen. But let me tell y'all quickly, these are my top 5 pet cats. And I also tell you guys some honorable mentions that we should look out for in the draft. That's tomorrow, which is crazy. The draft is tomorrow.
Right. Yes.
First of all, I'll say first, I'm team BPA. So no, I'm not. We got to get an offensive lineman. We got to get this. I don't want them going in there saying we got to get nothing. What I want is for them to draft BPA, especially in the first round. Now, obviously, I do think that in the first 3 rounds, it should be offensive lineman, wide receiver, running back. So, can they please give for once? But, obviously, if there's a top flight edge there or a defensive tackle, take them. I'm fine with it. But I want them for once to give Mike McCarthy some effing respect and let him have his draft picks. Because for the past... Since he's been here, it's always been defense. I'm tired of it. Let Mike McCarthy get his guys. Let him get his guys, please.
That's very true. Like
last year, he wanted Bergeron. They got Mozzie Smith. Like, let Mike McCarthy get his guys. Y'all gonna fire him if he don't get to the Super Bowl. So let him get his guys that he needs. That's my opinion. But anyway, what was you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, like, I agree with you because even in this draft, I was still like I mentioned last week, I was still just a little bit more defensive heavy just because we do have Mozzie down with the shoulder and I just our D line is just really a lot of guys we lost over in the offseason. So I just kind of want to help that middle line a little bit, but I do agree with you. Like, we definitely have to. It's definitely a huge point that the lack development with the players that Dan Quinn have gotten. Because like we mentioned in the show last week, I have to go over them again, but just all the guys that we've lost over the past few years that because of lack of development, we were able to keep.
A lot of guys, and there's most of it's on the defensive side of the ball because it's been Dan Quinn that's been controlling the damn draft for the past 4 years or 3 years. Sorry. So I'm glad that he's gone, and I really hope that they give Mike what he needs. Right? We go BPA. As for one tech, we're gonna have to get a one tech in the free agency once these June 1st cuts because we can't depend on rookie one tech.
Anyway, exactly. Like you mentioned earlier,
depend on them.
Rookie anyway.
And they keep saying Zimmer is big. It's all about big interior, big body. So we're gonna see because right now we only got, as Carl said, Mozzie and Carl Davis.
Right.
That ain't gonna work, and that ain't gonna do it.
So I don't even think he saw the field now on our team, I don't even think he got on the field last year. So he's still trying to, learn the defensive scheme and get chemistry with these players. So he's gonna be learning right along with the rookies coming in anyway. So we're just like you mentioned, Star. I think now that I'm thinking about that, you said that it is kind of probably a better idea to get in free agency as far as the DT because yes, we do have Mozzie down, but depending on the rookie coming in round 1 or not, you know what I'm saying?
They're gonna be shopping I know Carl, like what you saying, but they're gonna be shopping in the June 1st cuts. Steven already said that. Yeah. And Zimmer, obviously Zimmer, you on a 1-year deal. So you can F around and not get no veteran DTs that's worth a damn, but you're only screwing yourself. Like I don't know. So we'll see what they do. That's all I can say. We'll see what they do. There's of course, rookies that can come in and contribute, but they're not going to be the guys at the defensive tackle position. It's just not how it works. Mm-hmm. Those positions they gotta cook. They gotta cook. Well, Carl, I will say this. Sorry, what'd you say? Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say. I was gonna say I'm with you with that wide receiver pick as well. Like I wasn't really looking too much at wide receivers because we I don't know if we mentioned this on camera, off camera. We do have a lot of wide receivers, but the room is deep. Is like you said, we don't have the big names. So I would love, like you mentioned last week, just a big name to be able on the other side of the CD to be able to just give him a little bit more, just give him a little more pressure and be able to free up CD as well.
Yeah, and Carl, we just gonna see. We're gonna see, but they can get you in the June 1st cuts because these people are desperate. They're looking for jobs. That's all. That's why they go into it in the first place. And I guarantee you, there could be some veterans that are way better than Carl Davis. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see what happens. I don't know. But the defensive tackle is the one position where it's like I don't know. Everything else you can pretty much get in the draft, but with the defensive tackle, I don't know. That's the one position where I'm like, we need way more veterans in that room, like a true nose tackle. We have defensive tackle, but I'm talking about a true nose tackle.
Yeah.
But anyway, these are my top 5 pet cats for the draft. Doesn't mean that I'm saying pick these in the first round or whatever. This is just my players with talent that we can get early rounds, lower rounds. You know what I'm saying? This is just guys that I really like and I really enjoyed watching their film. And I think that they popped out on film to me. So number 1, Cooper Beebe. I've been on Cooper Beebe. He's an offensive guard tackle. He plays all 5 positions. He's such a unique player because they switch him around in game. I don't see any other offensive lineman doing that, but they will switch him from center to guard to tackle in game. I don't know why they do that, but he's just so versatile that he can do that. Mm-hmm. And he's a mauler in the run game, nasty, very strong. Obviously has, good enough feet, good feet to play tackle, but the base that you need to play guard, the strength that you need to play guard, the meanness that you need to play guard. You know what I'm saying? I think in the NFL, he's going to be a guard, but we do like players that have that position flex. I will say with Cooper, I do think this year he's a big guy. I do think this year he was playing a little bit bigger than what he was last year, and I could kind of tell on film he looked a little bit sluggish. Not bad, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like I do think he'll probably slim down a little bit. But I really, really love Cooper Beebe. I think
And I seen earlier that they say he may be available in the mid rounds, second, third round.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be available in the mid rounds. You don't have to get him in the first. Awesome. But I said he can pull, eliminate as a lead blocker, good awareness, good anchor, good kick step. I did already say he looked a little bit slow, so I'm like he might need to lose some pounds, but good wide base, bulldozers in the run game, good feet. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Sometimes he can set a bit high, with tackles and guards, they'll set a bit high. And when you set too high and you don't anchor your base, you can get thrown off. So that can happen to him occasionally. And in the game that I was watching, he was kind of struggling to sustain some blocks, but I've watched multiple games on him. This is just the games that I watched this year, but last year, he was phenomenal. So I do think this year he might have just gained a little bit of weight. And I think he also got hurt a little bit. Not any major injury, but just probably a nagging injury. But ultimately, he's been my pet cat since last year. So Cooper Beebe, he can play both sides. He is a dream in an offensive lineman. To me, this is a dream in an offensive lineman. So Cooper Beebe. Now, number 2 I have on here is Trey Benson. Now, I'm team. If they want to fuck around and get, or scream out loud, if they want to mess around and get a running back in the first round, I know people will kill me for saying this, but I'm supporting it. If it's Trey Benson,
right,
I'm supporting it. Trey Benson is basically like prime Ezekiel Elliott. That's my comp from him. My comp for him. Prime Ezekiel Elliott 2000. When you talk about a guy that come in and ignite this offense, it's Trey Benson. Now, I will say this as well. Other backs that I'm high on, that other than Trey Benson, is also Blake Corum. Blake Corum from Michigan. The guy his game speed is just, I can't really explain it. I feel like him and Marvin Harrison Jr. have some of the best game speed, and they just look faster than everybody. Blake Corum is the type of running back, literally he makes one move and then he's off to the races. But he's not just like a Tony Pollard where he's a home run hitting back. He also can get those 30 yards. He also runs with power. You know what I'm saying? But Trey Benson is also all of that as well. The power, quick step, can block, home run hitter, finishing through. These are running backs that quicken space, make man's missing space. These are running backs that are a problem. Also, Ray Davis, he's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do think my top 3 running backs is Benson, Corum, and Jonathan Brooks. But Jonathan Brooks got hurt.
Right.
And so I'm out on him in the first 3 rounds. I'm sorry. I can't do it. He just tore his ACL in November. He's not gonna be who he is till next year. And I just don't have time for that. I think he's great. I think he's a great talent. But as far as somebody come in right now and give us what we need, Other backs that I really like is Austin Estime out of Notre Dame, Jace McClellan out of Alabama. But those are lower round backs, right? You know what I'm saying?
What I had with Dylan Johnson, they say he was from some of the film I watched, he was really good at the goal line efficiency. I'm saying he's
okay. I didn't watch him, but what schools he play for?
He's from Washington, 6 foot, 218 pounds. They said, and they say he transferred from Mississippi State, but in his transfer year he had 1,100 plus yards, 14 touchdowns. Goal line efficiency. I do, we talk about Zeke. You know what I'm saying? I see Loves mentioned Zeke earlier. If we do pick him up, you think we'll get another running back? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. We're definitely, whoever we get with Zeke, it'll be somebody to pair. Zeke was not anybody that's going to impede me drafting a running back at all. Facts. But all the backs that I mentioned, though, these are guys quick, explodes through the hole, physical. You know what I'm saying? Quick, make a man miss, breaks multiple tackles. These guys are putting up 100 yards in the first half. That's the caliber of backs that I'm talking about. As far as Blake Corum, Trey Benson, and
Aldrich, with the Aldrich SMA? Was he a third
No,
one?
not SMA. Jonathan Brooks.
Brooks.
All three of those guys are like top notch. But I do love Austin SMA's film. I think SMA is a great back, good complimentary back, physical. You know what I'm saying? Can catch, can block, and stuff like that. But I think those three that I named are like the premium backs. But like I said, I am out on Jonathan Brooks because of the injury.
Exactly.
But if he wasn't injured, I wouldn't be out on him. I'd also say now number 3, JD Bertrand from Notre Dame. I don't think a lot of people are high on him because I guess you could say that he is a liability in coverage, but this guy is an enforcer. And an enforcer is somebody who sets the tone, right? Yeah. So he lives in the backfield. He lives to come up and hit. He's a leader, right? Very physical. The block, that true Mike that you need who can set everybody up, who can shed blocks and all that type of stuff. If you want somebody to come in and learn under Eric Kendricks, he's a great candidate, right? He's an amazing candidate. You hear his name 100 times a game because he's always there. He's the first one to the spot. He's making the tackle. Great pursuit. Tackles through the ball. I love JD Bertrand. Like he popped off the screen to me. As I said, do you want him in coverage, covering hook to flat? Not really. You know what I'm saying? Right. He can cover the hook, but the flat or long speed, like him trying to catch a running back from behind is not happening. He's not that guy. You know what I'm saying? So no, he does not run a 4.4. He is not Damone Clark or anything like that. He's a traditional though, downhill Mike linebacker. I also like his buddy Maris Leofow. Love him as well. Okay. Maris Leofow's a really he's more of a Maris is a guy that I feel can play more hook to flat. He doesn't have long speed as well like JD, but he's got such a big wide frame and he does have that mentality because he's learned under JD Bertrand, fill your gaps, hit, shed the blocks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is what we need. We need guys that can shed blocks. We do not need any more wheel linebackers.
I'm gonna catch you up, and guys who are willing to step up and hit instead of wait for the ball to come to them. Like you said, it's very important.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Fill gaps. Yeah. Like we can't do with any more hesitant Harrys and guys who don't want to come up and make tackles. Right. We need guys who can also shed and get off a block because too many times we saw not Wanye, but Damone Clark and Marquise Bell just get wiped out. Right. And if I'm seeing a linebacker get wiped out on film, I'm instantly like, I'm out on you. I do not want you. We got enough of those on our team. I think I'm trying to hear this up, but two more people. Johnny Wilson, wide receiver out of Florida State. Okay. I don't know where people have him on their draft boards, but he tested very well. He's 6'7". Wow. He's a true wide receiver too. That's why I like Johnny Wilson. He's not like, y'all remember that one, I forgot what that guy, he was from Texas Tech. He was real tall, but he was terrible. That's not Johnny Wilson. Johnny Wilson is I say he's a big man with little man feet. Right? Makes crazy, incredible catches. Runs a 4.4 at 6'7". Like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And when they played at LSU, I say Keon Coleman, he got all the touchdowns. But when it came to who was getting all them yards and all them catches, it was Johnny Wilson. Okay. And that's first. You go ahead.
No, I was gonna say and last year they brought in Bryant because of his size. So do you think that he could be like another compare a comp type for him? As far as being a tall, big body receiver they can bring
possibly, but I think he's way taller than Martavis Bryant. Okay. Like you don't see people that are Johnny Wilson's height actually being able to play actual wide receiver. But this guy, and he's a dog. Now I will say, occasionally he can have the dropsies, but that's okay because you can work on that. CeeDee Lamb had the dropsies problems when he was a rookie. He worked on it. Yep. But Johnny Wilson, like if we can get him fifth, sixth round, that's a steal. That's a steal. Yeah. Like I'm trying to tell y'all, like Johnny, he tested very well. His RAS score, his RAS was very good. So look out for Johnny Wilson. This is from Florida State. And then my last one, is Dominic Puny from Kansas. KU, Kansas University, the Jayhawks. When I watched his film, it gave me flashbacks to who my favorite offensive line last year was, which was Broderick Jones out of Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic Puny, Bob said it on his show. He got cornerback hips. Like, look at this is my notes on Dominic Puny. Let me see what I said. Looks very fast in space. Good base. Looks to bulldoze and run game. Good turn and seal. I said looks to set a bit high sometimes, but it doesn't get him in trouble. And I think that's because of his athleticism and his strength. High awareness. Picks up blitz. Quick feet. Good kick step. Looks like quickest off ball. Looks to bulldoze and run game. Right? Huge gain in run game behind him. That means when I say that, it's like you can run behind him all day. I literally said that. Can run behind him all day. Gets out in space with a quickness. Can sustain block very well. Good feet. Stonewall ability. Right? Looking to punish and run game. I do this because I basically just see if from one game to the next, if I'm mirroring, I'm seeing the same thing. Mm-hmm. This guy is great, and I think he's going off a lot of people's radars. But I think he's like, I don't know if he's going to be tackle or guard. He played tackle. They might say he's a guard in the NFL, but he's a person he can play both because I said he's got feet like a dancing bear. And that's exactly what I said about Broderick Jones last year, where it's like, this guy he's probably the most athletic tackle or offensive lineman, I would say, in the draft. People might say, Troy Fountain is up there as far as like athleticism, but I put Dominic Puny up there as well, where they have like this slender build, and you would think like they'd be weak, but they have this crazy amount of strength. They sustain blocks very, very well. Yeah. And then honorable mention as well is Cedric Van Pran out of Georgia.
Yeah, I had.
Go ahead.
No, yeah. I was gonna say I had that the name on one of my lists as well. Like Van Pran definitely stood out to me. Like from Georgia, I seen his comp was to Steve Avila from the Rams, and just hearing, and I know I heard his name a couple times. I don't know if it was last year or year before, but when I heard Avila's name, I was like, I know he was definitely high regarded. Coming out in his first year. So hearing him have you see, he had good.
Cedric Van Pran, the way that he sustains blocks is crazy. Yeah. Tyler Biadasz had a really hard time being able to sustain blocks, being able to stand, hold your block so that the lineman can get, your running back or whatever can get past you, and get into the running lane. He holds blocks for breakfast. He's probably, I would say, the best.
Combo blocks.
Combo blocks. Yes. Very athletic, good feet, good power. Yes.
He's got a sack since 2022 in 26 games. Hasn't given up a sack.
He doesn't get. That's what I'm saying. Like the Cedric Van Pran. I know people talk about Zach Frazier, and I haven't looked at Zach Frazier's film, so I can't comment on him. Right. I'm gonna try to watch a little bit of his film probably tonight or tomorrow.
And Frazier's also coming off an injury from last year, I believe, too, a fibula or something or coming off a surgery on his fibula from last year. So that's also
Zach Frazier. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But Cedric Van Pran, he's the truth. Cedric Van Pran is the truth. Now I don't know if they're looking at him or if they looked at him or scouted him out or whatever, but to me, I like him better than JPJ, Jackson Paris Johnson. And I know people are like, that if you say that, but I think Van Pran, I think that attitude, him coming from Georgia,
exactly,
it's different. I think he different. Okay. I think he come here. I think he'll give our offensive line a totally different.
Right, because we already have Bass and Hoffman trying to make a name for themselves, and they already want to play with that dog mentality. So bringing on, like you mentioned, that's a huge point earlier, Star. Just bringing on another young guy with that dog mentality who wants to play hard, who wants to get down and dirty at that line and push some people around. Why not? You know what I mean? So just having three guys right to the middle, like you mentioned, if he can play guard, maybe have him backing up, depending on where they want to put Bass at. If they want to have him at center, or maybe possibly have him replace Martin next year, depending on how long they keep him. But just being, like you mentioned, just being able to have that depth along the whole line, like you mentioned earlier, Cooper Beebe. If we could somehow pick him up late in rounds, I
would love. We could get Cooper Beebe in the third. I mean, that's a steal. Cooper Beebe, Cedric Van Pran. I think you're looking at them in the second or third. I know they said that we're looking for a running back. Right. That's why I do hope as well that we can trade back so that we can get maybe 2/3 or we can get a fourth, because I think somebody like Cooper Beebe or Cedric Van Pran, you're going to have to get them in the third or fourth round. They're not going to be there in the fifth. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to get them in the first or the second, but you're definitely going to have to get them in the third or fourth round for sure. Because I do not see them at all getting to the fifth round. Yeah. But anyway, that's all. My guys and my little pet cats or whatever. Of course, there's the top flight guys that we ain't getting because they're flying off the board immediately. Right. So I didn't waste time talking about Marvin Harrison Jr., who I think is the best player I think he's the best player in the draft. Marvin Harrison Jr. is literally CeeDee Lamb 2.0. I look at Marvin Harrison Jr., I said, this guy is CeeDee Lamb. Through and through. Build, catching ability, yak ability, CeeDee Lamb is who he is. So whoever he gets, I would love, he ain't coming here, but just amazing player. But anyway, I gotta go. It's literally, we've been on here for an hour, 30 minutes. Thank you guys, everybody for joining us. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we thank everybody for joining us. We appreciate you. We just heard Star break down, some of her pet cats in the draft, excellently. I might add, thank you so much, Star, for bringing that information to our show, because it just gives people some insight into what we could be seeing tomorrow. I'm completely with Star, y'all. BPA should really be where the Cowboys should be looking at, because like you mentioned earlier, if we go into the draft looking for a need, we may miss out on a BPA. We may miss out on potentially a Micah Parsons, like they mentioned in the presser yesterday. If we could get a player who can bring that, just kind of effect to our team this year, and maybe even multiple players. We do, like I said, we do have the 23 picks from last year who can, hopefully, have an impact on this team. And hopefully just kind of, gel with these 24 picks and just gel with the rest of the veterans who we were able to keep, in the offseason. And hopefully just be able to, kind of gel this team. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully, we'll see, what's going to look like tomorrow. First night of the draft. I think it's it was a 7, 8 o'clock Star. You have to know the start time?
I think it's 7.
7
o'clock, I think, is when it starts. Let me see. Draft.
Yeah. Yeah, on the way out, guys, while she looks that up real quick, make sure you guys if you haven't already, hit the like button, the share button, the retweet button, subscribe button if you haven't subscribed just yet. We're young content creators, like we mentioned earlier, just trying to get our voice out, and just thank you guys for spending your time, Wednesday evening with us. And you get the time.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. Yeah, it's 7 Central, 8 Eastern Standard Time. So. Okay.
And on ESPN, right? It's usually on ESPN the draft.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it's going to be on ESPN.
All right, cool. Well, you guys
either heard ESPN, the NFL network too.
Oh, and ABC too, right? Doesn't ABC usually stream?
Maybe. Yeah. It should be covered on multiple platforms. Yeah. So,
or at least for the first night.
Yeah, at least for the first night. So tune in for sure, guys. It's gonna be a movie. Let's pray that Dak doesn't magically get traded to the Raiders, and we can actually have a good draft so that we can have something to smile about as Cowboys.
Exactly. Look, we just want to come out this draft and just, we don't have to be on top of nothing like that. We just want to come out with some really great players who can add to the chemistry of this team. And hopefully, we're kind of on a standalone year going forward, but hopefully they can, bring some kind of impact to this team, offense and defense, however way they decide to go. And, we'll just, see what Will McClay can pull out, this year, and hopefully be able to, like she mentioned earlier, Mike McCarthy can get his picks in as well. And then we'll maybe get a peek inside maybe what kind of type of philosophies that Mike Zimmer may have, depending on what players he might want to pick up. So
that's going to be exciting too, to see, type of players that we get, because that you'll be getting to see based on the players' traits or whatever, what type of players Mike Zimmer values. So it's gonna be exciting to see what we do tomorrow.
Very exciting. Football, yes, football. Football things are a Monday, Star.
It's coming. Things are coming back, but coming up for us. That's football related and not BS. But anyway,
yes.
thank
you
y'all,
guys.
and y'all have a good night.
Yes, we appreciate you guys so much. See you guys next week.